right, folks, so down at the bottom right-hand corner of Tal'Dorei Malter, we have in the pink trunks, as old Total Biscuit would say, Marine King Prime Wee. His opponent here in the top left-hand corner is the one and only Millennium Stephano, our blue Zerg player. So I imagine Stephano's going to be very, very happy with the spawn positions, as they are cross spawns. It's going to make a little harder access to that sweet spot underneath the natural with siege tanks and things like that. So sure, he's going to be quite happy knowing he can open up with a very strong macro strategy.
Yeah, the sweet spot is not, I mean, it's still usable.
Oh, certainly.
But I mean, the reinforcing time for tanks and marines to get there from the Terran player's base all the way in the bottom right-hand corner is it's pretty long. So it allows the Zerg player to be able to fly mutalisks, pick off reinforcing units, get a great flank in the middle of the map with lings, blings, and mutas, and you know, it's not as much of a problem for Zerg players. So we'll see if Marine King Prime decides to capitalize on that and go for the quick expansion, probably play a macro game is what I'm assuming, get that third hatchery out to the left-hand side as soon as possible as well. And we'll see what Stephano's going to do, and we'll see if Marine King Prime is going to go for that 2 barracks opening.
Alright, he is opening with 1 barracks in front of his natural for the time being. This is actually pretty interesting because, well, he put it in an odd position. There is actually a space just for a supply depot on the left-hand side if he decides he wants to make this a full wall, and he's actually moving back with his SUV to the middle. He decided not to scout a base, and he's putting down a proxy second rack. So very aggressive play coming out of Marine King Prime, and this is extremely risky.
Placement of the barracks is actually really smart because what he's doing right now is essentially the Maka racks named after Maka Prime back in the beta, who used to always use the second barracks but place it at a somewhat wayward location, and then it was essentially a hidden 2 barracks. When the Zerg scouted it, looked like a single barracks. Now, talking about the location of that second barracks, more often than not, the Zerg player, when he sends out his scouting worker or his scouting overlords, they're going to go to the sides first. They're not going to go across the diagonal line until it's too late at the very least. And a drone is always going to touch the towers on the edges, but the tower range, I don't think reaches the barracks in the middle. So actually, this is a very blind spot for Stephano, and on top of that, Marine King opening up with that second barracks in the middle means that he will be able to have the same rush distance to the Zerg player if he spawned to the left, the top, or over to the top left.
And it looks like, I think he actually saw that Overlord, but he's going to get in here and check for 100% sure and start sending units into the top left, already rallying 1 Marine up there. Now, Stephano did decide to go ahead and put down a 15 hatch, and then went into gas pool after that, but this wasn't a super quick speedling build, as he did put down that pool first. So he does have 2 queens on the way. He has some Zerglings coming up, and it looks like he should be able to deflect early pressure.
Well, seeing this first barracks now should be an indication that there is at least a single barracks rushing him. He doesn't quite know if it's 2 barracks yet, but he might need to overproduce some Zerglings to defend against this. In fact, he has to. And let's hope he realizes that this is a 2 barracks, and yes, seeing 3 Marines here should set off the alarm bells right now. He needs to actually get the queen at the natural, and he's building 2 at a time, so he's going to have 2 queens out fairly soon. Getting speed right now. He may need a spine crawler based on the position of Marine King, just having the Marines already here, using that Stunner Step Micro as well, killing off every single Zergling, and it looks like the SCV was halted for now, but I think Stephano is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, we'll find out. These Marines are going to start making their way up, and he is producing a lot of Zerglings, so he should be able to halt the construction of this bunker altogether. Are there any more SUVs coming up? No. It does not look like that's the case, so Marine King is just going to use this bunker for a little bit of positional advantage, sit behind the bunker and try and outrange some units, and a queen goes down. That is huge. It looks like old MKP is going to make his way in and start attacking this hatchery. Oh, God, if that Overlord falls, that's really big as well. The Zerglings do not stand a chance. There's just not enough on the field, and MKP looks like he may take this game right away.
And this is why they call Marine King the Marine King. He is loving him some Marines. He's very good with them, extremely good micro. And it looks like he's just going to take this game outright. The bunker is going to finish, which is pretty much going to spell disaster for the Zerg players. Stephano. I mean, even if he, you know, he's going to lose his hatchery most likely now. And how is he going to get out of this position is beyond me. It's going to be very hard.
And even if he somehow rallies in enough things to go ahead and take this out, the entire time MKP has been expanding. He's been putting up workers this entire time as well, so he's going to be at a huge macro advantage. We see him adding barracks number 3 and 4 at the moment, so Stephano certainly has his work cut out for him. Actually does manage to trap a few Marines there for free with those speedlings, but he doesn't have a way to take down this bunker. The SCV was repairing the entire time. Another queen was about to fall, and that hatchery's going to go down.
Yeah, the hatchery is going to go down here. I don't see why Stephano's running lings in here and the weakened queen in here to try to pick off the bunker. That hatchery is going down. There's no way he's going to be able to save it in time. Even with 22 lings coming out, as long as Marine King focus fires the hatchery, which he actually isn't. So, okay, the hatchery is going to survive, but look at how many forces go down. The double queens go down. There we go. The hatchery falls. Huge damage sustained here by Stephano.
Yeah, certainly. And Marine King, he's going to start rallying units away. Actually still has his barracks sitting in the middle of the map, now starting to rally those units back. We just saw the rally point switch, and he's going to have to lift that up here in just a second. Or, no, looks like the Zerglings are just going to bypass that and head all the way down to the bottom right.
They're going to go for the counterattack.
Yeah, there's a pretty good wall sitting here over at the main, but not at the natural. We'll see if he goes after, funneling himself through a little bit of a choke point, but it looks like he may be able to bust through if he wastes enough lings here.
It looks like he is going to be able to bust through. Marine King here, uncharacteristically not walling with that off entirely. You know that's Ling mass counterattack is going to come because the Zerg is put into an all-in situation, and Marine King here in a lot of trouble. I can't believe it. His cheese is going to backfire him. Why didn't he have the front door walled off?
Oh my god, I don't know at all. He just lost so many SCVs. He's actually down to 22 supply. Let's take a look at the units tab. He's down to 14 workers. He just lost his economic advantage. And now mules are going to die. And those were fresh mules as well. Oh my god. Workers killed now 24. Stephano has killed 24 workers.
Not sure. Is there reinforcing lings? Yeah, there is. There's a lot more lings coming in. Yeah, you're right. Marine King now has been killed, has lost 24 of his SCVs. It's a huge economic hit. And it looks like his cheese completely backfired on him. I think Stephano is going to be able to win the game now. Mass repairs going on the SCVs. A couple more Marines coming out of those 4 barracks. But dang, Marine King is in a lot of trouble.
No, I agree with you. That was unbelievable. That was probably the biggest turn of events in the quickest period of time that I've seen in a StarCraft game yet. I mean, that was unbelievable.
You know, all Marine King had to do was just make sure this was fully walled off and had like 2 or 3 Marines behind the door, which he did have. And he would have been fine. He would not have lost.
Yep. So let's see here. Okay, now to his credit, let's take stock of the situation. He's still at double orbital commands.
He's not out of the game
He
yet.
can still drop double mules. He can still double produce SCVs. He's backed by 10 workers at the moment, but he's producing off of 4 racks, which means he's still going to be able to make an absolutely monster force. But Stephano, he has, actually 3 spine crawlers coming down, so he's going to want to play as defensive as possible. I'm sure we're going to see a baneling nest here in a bit because he knows he's going to force MKP into just mass Marine production. And here we go, the tug of war going back to Stephano's side of things, a bunch of Marines coming out.
11 minutes into this game and both players are still using tier 1 units. Very interesting play indeed. I mean, Marine King now realizing he has a window to make a counterattack. Stephano has been droning up this entire time to catch up, and so he has to make spine crawlers to defend against this. But it looks like the Marines will be able to go behind that hatchery. However, a lot of lings coming out right here. Is it enough lings to break through these Marines? I don't know. It's going to be close, and it looks like it is going to be enough. Marine King is going to lose his attacking force. That's a pretty big loss. That means that he will not be able to secure his natural expansion for some time.
And he didn't get that queen either, and he only temporarily stopped the transfer of drones going down to the natural, so no real loss there for Stephano, just a few lings, but he does come out with a supply advantage. And here we go. Now we're going to see a full wall put down for MKP with 4 racks.
He is vulnerable for a few seconds here. Looks like the lings may be able to get in before that wall comes down, and the lings are getting in. That is huge, but I think there's enough Marines in the back.
Yeah, they just ran straight into Marines. If they had just decided to pull themselves off and go in and kill some SCVs, they would have been in a lot better shape. As about
gonna do that.
But about half his lings went down right at first, so I don't think Stephano exactly expected to get in there right away. Wow, actually only kills 1 SCV. Yeah.
Wow, that wasn't as good as I expected it would be. But if he hadn't run into those Marines, you're right, he probably would have got about half of the SCVs at the mineral line or so. So Marine King and Stephano trading blows in the first 10 minutes of this game. Back and forth action for sure, but interestingly enough, it looks like things have stabilized to a point where both players are relatively even. If anything, I would say maybe MKP is a little bit ahead right now because he's on 2 bases. He's got the wall set up. He's got a lot of Marines behind that wall. He's teching into factory mode, whereas Stephano doesn't really seem to have a tech pattern yet, just now getting lair. So certainly I think Stephano maybe just a little bit behind, but it's definitely not drastic.
And I believe I saw a baneling nest. Yeah, there it is. So we're going to see baneling speed here. He may decide to make a big bust. It's possible because of the amount of lings he's going to. I mean, look, he's
barracks.
He just made another 20 lings on top of this. I mean, unless he's just frightened of some sort of a counterattack, and these are just defensive lings. I mean, why else would he commit 20 lings right there?
Yeah, he could be playing some.
And there's another 12 and +1.
Wow, is he really gonna go for a barracks baneling bust?
I think he's gonna try.
That's very risky. I think it takes about 10 or 15 banelings to kill off a barracks. That's a large chunk of your gas and of your lings. So yeah, he's gonna do it. He is making 12, 13 banelings. I think he needs about 15 to break through a barracks. And keep in mind, he needs a little bit more behind that to hit the Marines and to hit the SCVs as well. So he's got 18 banelings right now, and he's expanding at the same time. I love this playstyle. You know, high octane strategy, but it's going to be very hard to pull off because he's trying to bust through a barracks.
Yeah, certainly. So Stephano going to make his way out here in a second, leading with those lings so they absorb the damage, and not too many of the banelings go down. Banelings actually taking out a few of those Marines first, then they're going to crash through the barracks. Actually going through the one with the tech lab. It was a nice tactical decision right there. Lings are going to flood in after that. There is a tank on the field now, but of course no siege mode, so it's not going to offer any splash damage, and the lings just disappear.
He just didn't have enough banelings after the barracks wall. That's the thing. If you're gonna baneling bust a barracks wall, you need more banelings. I mean, literally, you need at least 15 to 20. He had about 15 to 20, but a lot of them went down killing the Marines at the outside of the barracks. So at the end of the day, Stephano, yeah, he delayed the stim pack, maybe delayed, you know, the tech lab for a little bit longer. And he, you know, caused a little bit of pressure to Marine King, but I don't know if that was exactly worth it.
I agree with you. I mean, he lost a lot of money in those banelings. And we'll see what he's going to recover from it. It looks like 3 hatch plus macro hatch, and with the +1 melee already on the ground, and carapace coming up. We're probably going to see. Wow. Actually going right into high? Where's the infestation pit?
That's not high, is it?
Or is that? Oh, that is layer. I apologize. So he was going for layer before. So
I think he was going.
Yeah, so he canceled it. That's what tripped me up. So
well, this counter push could actually just end the game right here. Those tanks all are gonna have siege mode within the next 30 seconds. All those Marines do not have stim pack though, so that's actually pretty huge because of course Stephano did delay the stim pack upgrade. I don't think they have combat shields either.
No, they do not.
Yeah, so those Marines are pretty fragile, and all it's going to take is a bunch of banelings and lings to kill that off. I don't know if he doesn't really need meterless, and here we go, gonna engage, but the banelings are going around the tanks. That's not the most efficient way to hit the Marines.
Yeah, but that was actually really good unit positioning out of MKP there. He actually forced those banelings around and allowed his Marines to do as much damage as possible while absorbing damage with his siege tank. So very nice job. He's going to siege up here at the sweet spot, taking out these spine crawlers as well, forcing them back. And now this hatchery is in range. That poor queen has to back away, or she is going to go down very quickly. Spine crawlers going to fall as well. A little bit of a counterattack, but those zerglings are killed immediately. Here comes round number 2 of banelings. Doesn't do all that much damage. Still, all 4 tanks, even though they're in the red, are remaining.
Stephano needs to be careful here. He needs to make sure his 3rd hatchery down to the south of the 9 is not rallying into those tanks, which they are. And look at the forces. They're just streaming and willy-nilly hitting the tanks in the back, but not quite getting up in there. And looks like he has enough tanks to break, at least to break the tanks though. So not bad at all by Stephano, just at the very last second breaking through. And it looks like he will hold here. Just barely.
Yeah, he's still not traded cost effectively though. MKP, he actually snipes one last queen as well. Yeah, he has a bunch of reinforcements coming up. But all those tanks were so far in the red, that's why the small number of lings was actually able to dispatch that number of tanks. But MKP, he's trading so cost effectively, moving up. He's going to siege underneath the sweet spot one more time and start picking off drones. So he is still in a fine position. We do see an infestation pit coming up for Stephano there.
Oh, the dropship out of range there, not able to kill the Marines, finally coming back in, and it looks like, oh my goodness, Stephano at the very last second has enough forces to kill that off, but Marine King microing his tank out of the way with the dropship. More links just continuing to flood out. Both players are just going for a tug of war in the middle of the map, and it looks like Stephano at the very last second has enough links to break through this reinforcement line. Beautiful play by Stephano, all off the 3 base, still playing just massling. Haven't seen him tech to anything else yet, and he's holding this off with the bare bone minimum.
Dude, against unstim Marines though, and tanks that he was catching out of position, that's fine. So So Stephano just throwing tier 1 units at his opponent. It's working.
As soon as Marine King gets stimmed, though, Stephano is going to have to up his game. He's going to need Infestors or baneling speed, and it looks like he is going to go for the Infestor play.
Yeah, lack of stim is actually the difference in the game right now. A bunch more Lings are coming in. None of these tanks have been killed quite yet, but they're all going to start taking damage. Only a couple of Lings remaining. MKP with great micro, picking up that siege tank with just 5 hit points.
One hit left from a Ling would have killed it off. Beautiful play.
Indeed, and we do have another OC coming down here over at the Destructible Rocks on the bottom right-hand corner, so he's going to go to his third pretty quickly. So MKP is starting to stabilize a little bit, but we do see a big transition over to Infestors with Pathogen Glands coming out of Stephano.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. The Pathogen Glands are really good against Marines.
Yeah, for sure.
And then once you combine that with the Lings as well, they should be able to flood in and kill a lot of these tanks and Marines. I'm surprised, Stephano isn't opting to go for the more Mutalisk route, because I feel like Mutalisks on this map provide you not only with the ability to kill off the tanks, but also to harass the mineral line. But, to every Zerg his own. Some Zergs prefer the Infestor strategy, some Zergs prefer the Muta-Baneling strategy. So we'll see where Stephano goes with this, but he certainly needs to secure a 4th hatchery pretty soon, which he is. He's getting a 4th hatchery over there, and Marine King also is getting his 3rd. So we actually have a game that's stabilized now, after all that back and forth tug-of-war action.
Yeah, certainly. And it looks like 56 workers to 62, so MKP with mules actually way ahead in economy at the moment, and that is, yes, going to be reflected, especially because he just loaded down this next base with a bunch of mules, so he's in a good spot. He's moving out with a bunch of tanks. He's got a lot of tanks here, and it's really going to come down to if Stephano can catch these tanks out of position or not. If he moves in without those sieged up, no, that is so bad for MKP. Finally, no, he's not even sieging up any of his units for the time being. Fungal's actually coming down being very devastating against the armored units, and the Lings are going to run through and clean up the rest, and MKP's attack was just destroyed.
That was huge! MKP just lost everything in the middle of the map, and whenever a Terran player loses their entire push, it's a huge setback to your plans of world conquest. So now Stephano has a great position. He can go in and kill off all these freshly produced mules, and he's going to kill off so many SCVs as well. Marine King is actually in a lot of trouble. He's got to scramble to rebuild his forces. He's got to cover his 3rd expansion. He's got to cover every territory possible, and at the same time has to worry about Stephano, who is macroing like a beast back home.
And it looks like MKP is going to go ahead and drop as well. Loaded up one medvac and to send that over to the left-hand side. A couple of Marines tagging behind say, hey, we want to go too. Not enough room. Sorry for you. Lings and Infestors are just playing around here at the top right-hand corner. As soon as they get enough energy for a couple of fungal growths, they may be able to move in and do a little bit of damage. A smart play here by Marine King is going after a missile turret just to make sure burrowed Infestors aren't going to ruin his day. But other than that, this has gotten to be kind of an interesting situation because Stephano has still not found a way to pull a supply advantage. He is teching up to Neural Parasite and Hive, however.
He doesn't have quite the supply advantage, but he has the Infestor advantage. And here we are. We have the Lings running in once. Again, that is going to be enough Lings to clear this out with the combination of Infestors, fungal growth. And is he going to fungal the SCVs? Oh my goodness, all those SCVs are going to go down. That's a huge blow to Marine King's economy. Yeah. Marine King just lost a bunch of SCVs, and the most important thing to note, the Infestors should be able to get out of there. Are they going to be able to? It looks like a couple of Marines are chasing them down. One Infestor is going to die, but the 3 of them get out, and I think that was certainly a cost-effective blow for Stephano.
And here we go. Don't think, Marine King is just going to go ahead and drop down against this. He was fine with that. And he's going to start poking away at the Spine Crawlers. Medevac doing a nice job of healing up. The Spine Crawler does go down. Queen gets fallen just a second after that. No real units being rallied back to go ahead and help. So these Marines are actually going to do quite a bit of damage. Now starting to move back as Zerglings move in.
But nice play by Stephano covering his butt with Spine Crawlers. I mean, wow, 61 workers killed. That's insane. But once again, I just want to reiterate, Stephano having Spine Crawlers all over his mineral line is just deterred those Marines from killing off so many drones. Enough time for Stephano to get his reinforcements out. So really well played by Stephano so far, and I actually feel like he may be ahead of Marine King at this point. Maybe on the verge of a victory, at the very least.
Yeah, we'll find out here. Oh, nice fungus goes down. Unfortunately, all those units are going to die. Bye-bye dropships. The infested pop. And here we go. There's another command center that's already created for MKP. He could drop that down at the bottom left-hand corner. And yes, as you are pointing out, we do have 3-3 on the way, along with adrenal glands and an Ultralisk Cavern.
That is huge. Stephano is about to have a big, bad, mauling, horrible, disgusting army. I mean, of Ultras, Lings, and Infestors. Marine King better hope that he's got some production coming out for him, because he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And here we are in his engagement. No, he's not going to siege up his tanks. It's just huge. All his units are clumped up. Those fungals, the chain fungal is going to kill everything. But it looks like Stephano, running out of fodder units, doesn't want to sacrifice all of his infestors, is going to back out.
Yep, and I'll throw a couple of fungals down just to guard this captain, a couple of infested Terrans falling. But still is going to lose a couple of those units. Yeah. Running away at the moment, not many of the tanks, or none of the tanks, I don't think, went down. But on Siege, I mean, Siege wouldn't have one MKP of the day right there, but it certainly would have allowed him to kill a ton of units in the process and maybe hope to equalize a little bit.
I honestly feel like Stephano should have just traded his investors for that army. He could have chain fungled and killed everything off. I guess it's kind of a decision, whether or not he wants to, risk it or not.
Sure.
But he did back out, and he's now producing 6 Ultralisks. He's got 3-3 on the way, as you said before. He's got chitinous plating as well. These Ultras are going to be crazy, insane good. And on top of that, Marine King is going to have the Lings with adrenal glands and the Infestors.
Yeah.
I just don't know what Marine King's going to do. He's got way too many dropships, if you ask me, and not enough bio to warrant that much medevacs.
Well, he is producing 3 Marauders, 4 Marines at a time right now, and actually ceasing medevac production, so it looks like he's going to be okay with that for a while, sending units down to the bottom left-hand corner so we can go ahead and clear up this lone Zergling that's preventing the orbital command from falling, and there we go. So MKP is going to be doing quite a bit more mining. It looks like Stephano's going to make his way down there. Siege! There's the Siege finally, but all his units are still clumped up. Neural Parasites going down, took over almost all of those tanks. And MKP is in a terrible spot.
MKP is falling apart here. His playstyle not really characteristic of what I'm used to seeing. We all know he's really good with Marines, but his tank control, man, not sieging at the right time, moving out across the middle of the map with all unsieged tanks, so risky. And Stephano is just capitalizing on every single aspect of Marine King's game. And it looks like Stephano now is going to be able to take off that newly mining expansion down to the 6 without any opposition from Marine King.
Yeah, certainly. Even if MKP brings up some tanks to siege here on the high ground,
it doesn't matter.
Not going to be enough. And here come the Ultras, and a bunch of SCVs are about to go down. Let's watch that workers killed tab actually go up. There's the fungal, 71, 75, 80, 81 workers killed throughout this game.
And the current income tab showing the Marine King is at 33 SCVs, certainly a dismal rate at the very least. And it looks like we're going to have a pretty much decidedly Zerg victory here for Stephano. I mean, I don't see how Marine King is going to be able to pull out of this short of a miracle.
I'm surprised he actually didn't just start killing the orbital. I guess it lifted off for the Ultras, and he didn't want to expend any of the energy on infested Terrans to go ahead and knock that down. But that landed again, and MKP actually just threw down a bunch of mules and is almost equalizing the economic rate just because of those mules. But Stephano's he is maxed, and he's starting to stack a bunch of resources, so as soon as this army goes down, he'll reproduce like 5, 6 more Ultras and a million more Lings here in a second as well. More workers going down. I am a glutton for punishment, so I'm taking a look. 102 workers killed, now in the triple digits, and that is going to be incredibly difficult for MKP to overcome.
Yeah, well, MKP's got a position here he can hold on for a little bit, but it looks like Bungo just devastating the pumps of Marines, and we should see the GG momentarily here. Maybe Marine King can hold on? I don't think so. There's so many Ultras back there, man. I mean, nice positioning from Marine King, but at the end of the day, that's going to be it.
Yep, absolutely. I think we're going to see a GG here in just a second. There it is.
Wow.
And congratulations, Stephano is taking game number 1 against MKP.